Hey everyone, it's Pup Twigs here from Orlando, Florida, and joining me from San Antonio, Texas is Pup Stitch. How are you?
Oh, I'm in a great. I'm happy to be here today.
Awesome. I thought I'd lost you there for a minute. The screen froze up and no voice, but you're slowly coming back into it. So I'll kind of talk a little bit and see if it comes back. I'm just going to see.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, my internet's still good on my end. So right now your screen is moving at a robot's pace, like.
Okay, let me step outside.
There we go. It's coming back now.
Technology.
Well, I know you got to love it and you got to hate it both.
How's that? Is that better?
Yes, yes, I can see you moving and I can hear you.
Okay, awesome.
So, we went in and got our introductions done, but I want to find out how did you come about with your name, Pup Stitch? And tell me, I know you don't have it on right now, but tell me a little bit about your puphood colors and maybe why you chose them.
Okay. So originally I started off with the name Pup Taz, like the Tasmanian Devil.
Hmm.
Um, I had that for a couple of years, and then I realized that I'm more like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Often misunderstood, often with best intentions, things happen that are not necessarily the greatest.
Yeah.
And you don't really know if I'm a dog or what I am when I'm in headspace. So
Hey, that's okay.
the whole no, it's just funny to me because I go my little arms out to the side and people are like, okay, next. The colors that I mainly use are black and blue.
Okay.
Um, I like those colors. I'm a huge blue fan, and then black. And it's kind of funny because I'm also in the BDSM community.
Oh, there
Um,
you go.
and I always joke with people, hopefully it'll be a good night, black and blue, and maybe a little red too. Uh, and those are how I really came about it. My hood is actually a custom hood from a well-known vendor in the US.
Hmm.
Um, it's actually got fur. If you can feel it, it has fur on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really nice hood. The ears I can switch out. I have two sets of ears. It's a leather hood. I know there are many types of hoods. I have a gamut of hoods that I wear.
Hmm.
Neoprene, leather. Um, I can't do latex because I have a small latex allergy, but
Yeah.
a lot of different hoods.
Okay. Well, how long have you been a part of the pup community?
I'm right at a decade now, about a
Yeah.
decade.
Okay.
Um, I started off in the leather and kink community in Charleston, South Carolina. I
Hmm.
was a part. I am a leather boy on top of everything else. And then we moved from South Carolina to Texas back in 2014 with my family. And I finally had a name to it. Like, I finally had a name to what I was doing. I
Hmm.
remember being little and being on my grandmother's floor and like wrestling around with little chihuahuas and stuff and just like playing around. And then I found my breed actually because I have a retired service dog. Her name is Pixie.
Nice.
She is a micro pit bull, not like the pit bull look, but she has more
Uh-huh.
of the Boston look. So it's a cross between a Boston Terrier and a pit bull. And that definitely describes me in a nutshell because I am fiercely loyal and I would defend what's mine.
So there you go. That's the way to be. Awesome.
Hmm.
Well, in that almost decade that you're talking about, what have you found to be the easiest, and then what have you found to be more difficult as part of the pup community?
I think one of the more easy things that I have found is the ability to transcend language
Hmm.
to really get into that space of freedom being a pup. I'm also a handler as well, but being a pup, getting down, playing, and doing things like that. Now, the hardest thing, I have a lot of health stuff that I've gone through and I'm going through, and I'm not always able to get down and play on all fours on the mat.
Hmm.
So I've started something called adaptive kink. It's a phrase I use to make the spaces more accessible to those that need them. I have a little 4-foot fold and a half table that I take to moshes with me, set it up so people can sit, or they can just kind of play with somebody that's sitting, so they don't have to be down as on the floor as much. And I have some other things that I've added into that to help make it easier for people to be able to be in headspace if they're not able to be on all fours or visually impaired or things like that.
Wow, that is incredible. I love that. Hopefully it catches on, because I'm sure there's a lot of pups out there that aren't able to get into their all fours.
So actually that kind of ties into something else. We were talking about it before the podcast, me going up to IPTC,
Yes.
International Puppy Trainer Contest. I'm actually bringing that table with me for the mosh at International next month while I'm competing, because part of our score is lifestyle image. And my theme for my title year was visibility opens doors to accessibility. And if I'm going to say that, I need to do that.
Yes.
So, and that's actually IPTC this year. Just they have an inclusivity policy, and we are actually now for the show ring, they have something called the stack position. That's the like ready position for them. You can now, if you're not able to do it on all fours, you can now stand up and do that at attention. So they've made that accommodation for people that can't necessarily get down.
Yeah.
So now that it's being done at an international level, hopefully it'll trickle down into other areas.
Nice. Well, good. Well, I want to talk more about that competition in a little bit, but if you have the ability, and sounds like you might have that ability to change something about our community, what would you want to change?
I think the biggest thing is the fact that if you are differently abled or disabled, both are acceptable things to say, you still have a place on the mat. There's always a place, and when I say mat, like the mosh area, there's room for everybody if you're willing to play by the rules of that mat. But it's the breaking down the walls of, well, I want to pup out, but I can't because I don't have gear, or I can't because I can't get down, or I have some other neurodivergency where I can't be around a lot of noise. We set up a mosh pit here in San Antonio at one of the big events for the furry community, and we had the tables out, and people are actually like playing on the tables. They're like, "Wow, this is cool," and it's been able to break those walls down. Is the biggest thing.
Well, hopefully you're going to see that take off all across the puppy play community, because it sounds pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure you've run into people that are viewing us from the outside looking in, and they want to be a part of this community. What advice would you give them?
So the first thing I tell everybody, you don't have to have gear. I joke, I say it's like having adult toys. I'm gonna bring it adult toys. It enhances things. It's not necessarily you have to have this. My biggest recommendation for somebody starting off is to get the safety gear like mitts and knee pads and wrist bracelet, like wraps, so your wrist doesn't buckle while you're playing if you're down.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. And the other thing is it's not always sexual. A lot of people see it on pornography and other things like that, and they go, "Oh, well, I've only seen it this way." I'm like, you can do that if you're into it. I go both ways on that. Sexual and non-sexual in play. It is very important that we realize that that's a possibility. Negotiation is a key. If you have questions, ask somebody more experienced to help you negotiate, and be very, very detailed in your negotiations.
Yes, agreed. So what brings Pup Stitch the most joy out of pup play?
Really, it's the one-on-one conversations with people about what we do. It's the wow, Max, that's my chosen name. They go, wow, yeah, I can't necessarily do everything, but I love what y'all do. How do I get involved in the local community? We're actually very fortunate that we have two groups here in San Antonio that are open to the pet pet community. And
Mhm.
we also have furry groups that are kind of our cousins. I always tell people they're kind of our cousins.
Yeah.
We have a whole bunch of things that we find groups that are open. There's multiple ways of doing that. Reaching out to people that you know in the community. If you don't know anybody, I'll send my social media out. You can message me. I
Mhm.
have connections all over the world to different things, literally all over the world.
Nice.
And we can get you tied into somebody closest to you.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So I know not all pups have them, but do you have a special play toy that you like out there?
Yes, I do. I actually have a little Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my mom got it for me about 5 years ago, and she has since passed. And I have my little Grinch that I carry with me, and that's my big tie when to be there. That's actually my favorite one, and I have some other like ones that I like to play with every now and again.
Awesome. Yeah. I don't have really have one, but I know you won't be able to see it, but someone made, oh, there it is. Someone made me out of California a rubber ducky in a puppy hood and harness.
I actually do have a lot of rubber ducks. I found out that in the gay community, there are a lot of people that collect ducks.
There are that and people who own Jeeps. So what has this done as being a pup to your mental wellness?
So I actually do have mental health conditions. We use the word conditions instead of issues.
Hmm.
Conditions, you condition saying I have mental health issues means that it's a dirty, quote unquote,
Yeah,
dirty thing.
yeah.
It's like anything else in the community. Well, I'm clean or I'm clean from HIV. It's that
Hmm.
stigma behind it.
Yeah.
So with my mental health, I'm bipolar. I have um I have that, and I also have a traumatic brain injury that I went through. And it can be difficult for me to, I'm very, very eager to help people, and it can sometimes be misconstrued. It's
Hmm.
like, but the biggest thing for me is it's that release. Uh, when I have somebody, I don't have a handler, like a full-time handler, but when I'm in the mats and I'm playing, it helps me get out of that. My brain goes 24/7 and I can't stop. Because
Yeah,
then you just are focused on playing and having a good time.
agreed. So what kind of hobbies do you have around San Antonio? What do you like to get out and do for fun?
I'm actually an educator in the kink community and a student.
Oh, nice.
This past since I won the title that I'm since I won my title, I won the title of Iron Pup 2023,
Hmm.
and I just passed that along back in January to the next person. And I'm really fortunate that we have spaces here in San Antonio that accept us.
Hmm.
Um, we have several bars that will let us set up mosh areas for people to play or just hang out. And we have other places outside of bars because I know people are in sobriety and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So we do have those spaces available. Um, I'm I am part of a group called the San Antonio Kennel Club, and also another group that just formed, the Alamo City Pups. The San Antonio Kennel Club, I became the what we call the pit boss, the DM. We call him the pit boss, and I was very fortunate in my time doing that I came up with policies and procedures for handling complaints,
Oh.
um, making things more accessible, like we've been talking about,
Hmm.
and also having a way. We have like a box that we take with us that has extra toys and stuff in it, so people can still play in those spaces.
Nice. I'm assuming that that just keeps you busy all the time. So
Oh yeah, I'm going 24/7. I don't stop.
I bet.
Um,
What about
and
pets of your own? Do you have any animals?
yes, I do. As I mentioned earlier, my pup, um, Pixie,
Hmm.
she is my sh- she is amazing. She's 10 years old. The other pet is my father. No, I'm kidding. My bio dad. I walk him daily. I mean, come on,
Hey,
folks.
hey.
But no, just Pixie right now. Pixie is an only dog. She likes her space.
Oh, there, yeah.
She is the lady of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's my pets.
Well, and that's good. So uh, I know I like to find out about what's going on event-wise where you're from, but I want to devote the time to where you're going. There's a big event, and you mentioned some of it, but tell me, what do you have to do to compete in the, tell me the name of the event and what do you got to do to compete in it?
Okay, so it just came back last year. It's International Puppy Trainer Contest.
Okay.
It is going to be held the 4th through the 7th up in Chicago at the Center on Halsted. If anybody's in town, stop on by. It's also going to be live streamed for those that cannot make it to Chicago.
Okay.
If you go to iptc.dog, that's the official website. So like I said earlier, I won Iron Pup 2023. The title is actually based out of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I held on to the title. I could have gone last year, but I helped another friend of mine go this year, last year, so I'm going this year. There are actually 5 contestants for puppy and 4 for handler. We have a total of 7 judges. It's very international this year with all of those. We have Canada, Australia that's being represented, France that's being represented, and I don't remember the 4th flag. I believe it's Barbados. Don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
Of the different people that are participating. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Some of the requirements to compete are you have to do a gift basket that will be auctioned off that Friday night, possibly Saturday. They're still working all that out.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, very fortunate to get a bunch, and I do mean a bunch of sponsors that have donated a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of fundraising and stuff like that to help me get up there. I have a team coming with me. The producer of my contest, Alpha Pup Atlas, he will be my handler, and this is the first time he's going to be a handler, so he's stepping out of his comfort zone.
Oh, wow.
And his partner, Boot Black Lawson, will also be my personal Boot Black for the weekend. Shout out to all the Boot Blacks. And they're going to be with me along with a few other people from Texas. Handler Daddy Handler LT out of Dallas will also be competing for handler. So Texas actually has a puppy and a handler going up to compete.
Very
We're
cool.
not competing together, but we're both competing.
Mm-hmm.
We also are very, very fortunate. The pup coming in from France doesn't speak English. So we've been using Google Translator. Good luck
Yeah.
with that on getting the right words. And we're actually going to be I'm going to be handling them as well as competing.
Oh
So
my
we have
goodness.
actually come up with a way to help him for one of the things that we have to do of translating into French so he and I can communicate. So we're breaking down those boundaries of communication again at IPTC, which will make it easier for him to be able to do his best.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing about this whole thing is you want people to be at their best and highest level of things.
Mm-hmm.
There are about 9 official categories for everything.
Yeah.
Well, I say official. There's like 4, but there's little ones that you kind of show up to and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Starting on Thursday, we have a meet and greet and a mosh. The meet and greet is more mandatory. The mosh is kind of going to go towards your lifestyle and image score. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a throughout the weekend thing. And then Friday, we have interview in the morning, and then pop question and intro Friday night. And then after that, there's going to be some stuff happening after that. And then Saturday is the show ring. There's going to be classes happening all weekend. So if you want to check out the website again, iptc.dog, you can check that out. Saturday night is our speech, and we do a pup scene. It's kind of, some people call it fantasy, some people call it different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the announcement of the winners. And then there's a victory party afterwards. And then Sunday is brunch. I will be getting in on Wednesday, the day before, to kind of mellow out, get my stuff together, and kind of chill. And then we're going to be moving from there. And then coming back that Monday. So it's going to be a very busy weekend.
It's going to be an extremely busy weekend for you. Well,
So
That sound, I might have to log in and watch the live stream because that sounds really interesting.
We are very fortunate that our contestant handlers, one of which is handler Carissa, I apologize, verbiage. They are actually a former international trainer for the contest, and they're one of our handlers. And Rido is another one of our handlers. He's amazing. And we have the staff is amazing this year, y'all. From the executive producer to the oops, oh, hello. From the executive producer to the volunteers.
Mhm.
I joke the volunteers are the cockroach crew because we scurry around the back and nobody really sees us until the lights come on and you really don't see us.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have a bunch of really great sponsors that have sponsored the event themselves. So checking that out, supporting the sponsors. There will be a boot black um, on site, and I'm also bringing my boot black. So if you have any leathers that need to get signed up, please support your boot blacks, y'all. Please.
Mhm. Awesome. Now's the time where you actually get to ask a question, and this will be for my next guest that I have on here. What would you want to ask them?
What are ways in your local community that you can bridge gaps, whether that be with accessibility, other organizations in your area, or if you don't really have a whole lot, how can you reach out and make those connections?
Good one. That's a good question. Now, your question came from Pup Blaze out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Cajun
And,
country.
and he wanted to know, what do you get or how do you get into your headspace?
Very good question. I do something that I call morphing in and out of headspace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I kind of shake everything. I shake off my human side and get into my pup headspace. So I get on all fours. I kind of shake, or if I'm able, I shake it off, and then I go into headspace. When I'm
Okay.
coming out of headspace, I do the exact same thing because that gives me that break between being a human, being a pup, and then being back again. And that also helps me from not jolting myself out of headspace
Yeah.
because if I jolt myself out of headspace, if anybody jolts themselves out of headspace, pretty much it just fries your circuits.
Yes.
So
Awesome. Well, would in case other pups wanted to reach out to you, how might they contact you?
I actually have quite a few. I'm not on Instagram or any. I'm on Instagram, but I don't use it very much.
Mm-hmm.
The main ways are through Facebook.
Okay.
It's it's Max Max Stanlick Stanlick. You can reach me there. Send me a note so I know where I know you from.
Okay.
Also, I'm also on FetLife. My handle on FetLife that actually has a really funny story behind it is the Twisted. It's Twisted, TWISTED. No, yeah, Twisted Wizard, WIZARD. That name was actually given to me by a friend of mine at the time. I am a king with pervertibles and I'm actually working on a class of nothing but pup gear for a pup scene. But I was playing around with some of my stuff one day and he goes, "You're a wizard at twisting things. You're the twisted wizard." And it stuck.
Hey,
So there's that. So if anybody has any questions and they'd like to reach out, please do. If you want to know how to get a contest started in your area, let me know. If you want to just talk, I don't drink coffee, I drink Sprite, but we can grab a soda and just chat over the internet. Like I want people to understand, again, breaking down walls of communication. If you speak a different language, okay, let's use Google Translator and hope it comes out right. Like,
yep, exactly. Awesome. Well, it has been a pleasure, and I want to be one of the first to say good luck next month. You might find me in the live stream because I might have some time to log into it and see. I'll see what the schedule is and go from there because it sounds extremely interesting, and I've so enjoyed getting to talk to you today.
thank you very much for having me. And I appreciate you doing this type of thing because it gives people a lot of different perspectives and it gives people a way to see that it's not one true way of doing things. because we're all individuals.
Yeah.
But we have this collective spirit of being into animal play or critter play or pet play, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
And we can come together and just chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't wait to hear back from you that you are the winner next month and stuff. Give me the dates again.
It's going to be the 4th through the 7th of April in Chicago at the Center of Halstead. We are literally like right in the middle of Chicago.
Oh yeah.
I believe they still have some tickets available if you want to kind of show up. They have different price tickets for different things. And if you have any questions, feel free again to reach out to me and I'll get you the information.
Awesome. Well, Pup Stitch, it's been a pleasure having you on. And I know this won't be the last time. We'll have to have you on again once you get that title.
Yes, sir.